Hello gorgeosities, how are you all? I hope you're well. I'm coming to you, it's late, we're in the gloaming, it's so dark. I've had to shove myself right back into the corner to try and get some light because today is the autumn equinox. Well, I think you're going to see this tomorrow, but anyway, today is the autumn equinox for me. And suddenly, we're dark in the evening again. I don't know if you find this. This is something that happens to me every year, both in the spring and in the autumn. I'm trundling along, doing my own thing. And then one day I suddenly notice that it's dark earlier. Or in the spring, I notice that it's light until later. Every year, same thing. It feels like just yesterday it was light until 9 o'clock. It definitely isn't. What is the time? 7:30. So, I'm going to try to be quick today. Famous last words again. I've had a really lovely day. As I was mentioning a couple of videos back, my second cousin, we've worked out we're second cousins rather than once removed and all that. I still don't know how that works, but never mind. She drove all the way over to me today, and we spent an absolutely gorgeous day in the garden. It was really interesting when she arrived because I live here. I've lived here for a long time. I take my little area for granted. But it was kind of interesting to see it through her eyes momentarily because when she got here, there's no two ways about it. God love her. Hey Maggie, if you're watching. She's a little bit flustered by the noise, the chaos, the kind of whole bamboozle of this area. Yes, where I live, it's noisy, it's busy, it's life coming out of everywhere 24/7. I'm going to talk a little bit about my neighbourhood in a second. And it's definitely not for everybody, this city living. It suits me. I love it. I absolutely love it. I would like a quiet day every now and again, but essentially, yeah, I love it. I love the mashup of cultures, this kind of noise and chaos that's going on all the time. And the thing is, when you've been here a long time, within what seems like noise and chaos to people from the outside, actually you find your quietness, you find your calm village life. What was lovely is when we walked to, so I met her outside my front door. I'm not doing any of that. Come into my flat. We're not doing any of that because of social distancing. So we walked down the road to my allotment, and the first part of the walk is along the main road, along the high street. Noisy, 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 noisy. But as soon as you turn off the high street, actually it gets a bit quieter. So as we're walking along, morning to people. And then I stopped outside a friend's house. He was kind of hoovering I thought he was hoovering his doorstep. He wasn't. He was hoovering his camper van mats to hopefully have a little trip away. So we stopped to say hello. And as we were saying hello to him, on the other side of the street, another friend was in her top window, leaning out, calling my name, turned round, hi. She was asking me if I wanted any jam jars. Carried along the street a little way, and my cousin said to me, do you know everybody? I was like, you know what, kinda, yeah. I think it's a big misconception for people who don't live in London but come in. I'm not saying this about my cousin, but just in general. People who come in from the outside, they think this city is, you know, it's scary, it's noisy, it's unfriendly, people don't talk to each other. But actually, within our own little villages, of course we do. and it's one of those things, every time I think about moving, I think, no, I don't want to leave this lovely community where I have so many great friends. Anyway, excuse me. We had a lovely day, just hours and hours and hours of chatting. I won't go into what we chatted about because a lot of it's personal. We did, of course, discuss the current situation and a bit of politics in general. And it was just great to be able to have a conversation with, you know, a like-minded soul and just tuck into it without without any kind of judgment, or it was great. Plus lots of other stuff too. Oh, we talked about books, of course we did, but actually not as much as I thought we might. Oh, and fantastically, because I've been mentioning the African authors programme that I'd seen on BBC4, the TV BBC4, not the radio BBC4. So she's given me a couple of books. The first one is The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks. I will discuss these when I've read them, but I think this one is going to be a truly difficult, disturbing read. I'm going to leave that there for now. And then, honestly, this one has been on my list for the longest time. Why have I never read it? I'm going to Andrea Levy's Small Island. So I'm really looking forward to those. And probably what I'll do is I've just ordered my mind's gone blank. It's the Booker Prize winner from last year, Girl, Woman, Other. I can't get the author's name in my head. Never mind. I've ordered that. So I think what I'll do is when that comes, I'll read these three as a little group together. Anyway, yes, so lovely day in the garden. And then at about 5 o'clock, one of my plot neighbours came out and said, kind of jokingly, "Vivi, is your flat on fire?" So where the allotment is, I live at the top of a hill. Well, it's not the top of the hill. I live almost at the top of a hill. And the allotment is a bit lower. So from the allotment, I can't actually see my building, but I can see the buildings that my building is a part of because they are on a rise. What? Jump out of my seat, take a few paces, turn around to look backwards into the afternoon sky to see this masses of billowing, thick black smoke. Awful. Fire is one of my absolute fears, one of my absolute terrors. I'm just going to say very quickly, obviously you're seeing me in my flat. My flat was not on fire. So, you know, what a shocking sight to see the skyline. And what was weird was about 10-15 minutes before, like I say, my second cousin and I were just sat there chatting about, I don't know what at that point. And she sort of had become a bit, not alarmed, but sort of said, "What are all those sirens about?" I hadn't even heard them. You know, living here so long, I'm on a main drag to 2 big hospitals. There are sirens all the time. I tune them out. It's weird, isn't it? Like I said, seeing my own area through someone else's eyes or ears. Yeah, it's a city. There's lots going on, and there are lots of sirens, so I don't even hear them these days. And then within minutes, that was when the plot neighbour said, "Is your house on fire?" Long and short is, it's a building about literally 100 metres from my flat. And because I'm quite high up, I can see over there, I can sort of see slightly what's happening. And this is now, getting on for 2 and a bit hours later. It's a house where, okay, I won't go into details because I don't want to, if anyone's tuning in who knows the parties involved, whatever, there's no one in the house. There are houses either side. This house has been boarded up and ready for renovation for ages. So at the moment, as far as I know, there are no lives in jeopardy. But what I wanted to say was a massive shout out to firefighters. you know, in recent weeks and months, we have quite rightly thought more about our nurses, our healthcare assistants, our care home workers, all these people giving care to either sick people or elderly people. We've thought about them a lot. We've clapped for them on a Thursday night, quite right. We've praised our shop assistants, our delivery people, our bus drivers, quite right. But we need to say a massive hoorah to firefighters. I don't know how they do that job. There are not many jobs in the world that I wouldn't have a go at. That I think, yeah, I'll have a go. I mean, obviously if I was younger or whatever, but firefighting, no way, hose A. If I'm in a building and it's on fire, I'm going to run the heck out of there. Firefighters, they run into the building. Let's all just take a moment to think about that and to, you know, if you know a firefighter, to give them an extra hug. Well, you can't, can you, at the moment? But, you know, we really, really should champion these people, because what a job. Not just running into the fire, but the clothes they have to wear, heavy, heavy clothes, face masks, breathing apparatus, holding those hoses which weigh a ton with that water fighting. What I can see from my flat at the moment, if I lean slightly this way through the window, there's one of those, I guess it's kind of like a sort of crane thing with a little cradle in the top, and in there are two firefighters pointing hoses down into the fire. They've been up there now for nearly 2.5 hours. That must be exhausting, physically exhausting. I mean, I'm totally in awe. If any of you are firefighters, if you're married to them, if your mum's a retired firefighter, your granddad is a retired firefighter, whatever, please tell them thank you from me, because seriously, it's a deep, deep-seated fear in me is fire, and I'm sure it is in so many of us. Listen, I love to play with fire. I love to build a fire and cook on it, but it's contained. An uncontained fire is... I can't think of many things more that I can't think of things... I can't speak. I'm suddenly thinking about what I'm scared of. Fire and heights. So yes, let's champion them. Let's hug them and praise them whenever we come across them. So, great day. Ending in a bit of a... I can't keep my eyes off though. I can... the cradle that they're in, it's kind of got lights around it, little red lights, so I can see where they are, but I can't see what they're doing anymore. So we just have to hope that, firstly, there was no one in the building. There shouldn't have been. Secondly, that the buildings either side will be okay and the people in them. Obviously, everyone's been evacuated. The whole road's closed off. There's a whole queue of ambulances there, and more than anything, I think, I just hope that all those men and women who are fighting that fire will A, get it under control, and B, come out safely and get home to their families tonight. There are so many people in society, aren't there, who just get on with looking after us all. Hurrah to all of them. So now, keeping an eye on the clock. I was going to talk about so much tonight. So I'm going to keep it short. I want to make a shorty tonight. You know, the plastic-free shop I was talking about? Well, as each day goes by, they're getting more and more sorted. And today, this morning, I noticed that on their doorstep, they're doing little paper packets of spent coffee grounds. Now, I know this is something over the last sort of 2 or 3 years, folk have said to me, why don't you get spent coffee grounds for your compost? The fact is, on my high street, full of it's all these little independent shops, we don't have a coffee shop. We don't have any of these big brand conglomerate take over the high street, take away all the personality of your individual high street coffee shops. And I've always thought, yay for that. But my new little shop is obviously doing coffee, and they've put these little paper bags of coffee grounds outside with a sign saying, "Spent coffee grounds, please take." So, yay, I've got a source of coffee grounds, finally. Now, because I've never had them before, I know lots of people use them in lots of different ways in their gardens, but because I never have, I've never really researched the best ways to use them. So yes, I know I can. Yes, I will. But I'm going to do a bit of research just to check on the best ways to use them, because I think that will change through the year as well. Obviously, we're going into winter. There are less plants in the garden, so there's probably less chance of me applying it directly onto the garden. It's probably more of a compost heap thing. I'm not sure. So I'll do my research in the meantime, start getting my free coffee grounds. What a great shop. And I'll have a little bit of an experiment as I go. And then what I'll plan to do as we go into next year and a new growing season, I'll try to use the coffee grounds in different ways and then report back to you about what's the best way, how has it worked, etc, etc. Yay, really happy about that. Now, one of the reasons I want to keep this short this evening is because it's one of the joys of going into autumn, the later autumn and winter, is we suddenly get some good stuff to watch on the telly. Yay! So I'm sure there are a lot of you who are Strictly fans. I catch a bit from time to time. I remember the first or second series, I watched the whole thing. I was glued to it, and I do really enjoy it. So we've got that to look forward to. But of course, tonight is the beginning of the Great British Bake Off. Yeah! I know some of you are going to turn off at this point. Now, I think the nation either loves it or can't be bothered with it. I was a can't be bothered with it for years. I know my whole family watch it. My mum and sister, watch it every single episode. I never did. Until there was a time, one autumn, 5 or 6 years ago, I'd gone up to Yorkshire for my nephew's birthday, and it happened to be on one evening, and I was thinking, oh dear Lord above, an hour of baking and cooking? Are you kidding me? How wrong was I? By the end of it, I was sort of like watching between fingers as they have to carry their showstopper. Oh, the jeopardy! They might drop it. Oh my goodness! I have never experienced such tension watching cooking. Anyway, so it's back. It's back tonight, and I know that probably approximately, let me say, 50% of the nation will be watching it. There's one new presenter tonight who I'm not a huge fan of, but we'll see. So the old presenter, and this is something else I wanted to quickly chat about, and then I really am going to go. So Sandy Toksvig was one of the presenters, and you probably know by now I'm a huge fan of Sandy. I thought she was a genius replacement for Stephen Fry on QI. So she's not on Bake Off anymore. But for anyone interested, following straight on from it is it's only a 2-part series, I think this week and next. It's called The Write-Offs. The Write-Offs. What I understand from it, obviously I haven't seen it tonight, but I really want to tune in. It's, I think it's 8 individuals adults, who have struggled with reading and writing. And from what I understand, it's a sort of an intensive course to help them to develop their reading and their writing, and there'll be set some little tasks as they go along, including following a recipe, which I believe Prue Leith has set. So, it all kind of ties in, doesn't it? But I'm really, really looking forward to seeing that, because I know it's going to be one of those things that I'm going to probably cry when I watch it. I love to see people achieving. I think it's the most beautiful thing in the world to see someone reach a goal and the joy that brings them. So I don't know, I haven't seen any previews of this shows, but I'm guessing there will be people who properly for the first time in their lives find the joy of being able to read. And crinkly paper. Well, you all know by now how much I love to read and how much I want everyone to read. You know, you're never alone with a book. I can't imagine my life without reading, and that's books. Imagine not being able to read the ingredients on a packet of food. Say you've got food allergies and you can't read the ingredients. I can't imagine how utterly disabling that would be. So I'm really looking forward to the show. I hope it's done in a sensitive way. I don't want people to be used as lab rats for the sake of entertainment, of course not. But I'm guessing that if Sandy Toksvig is involved and hosting or whatever, she strikes me as being a very compassionate and empathetic woman. So I'm hoping that means that will be the kind of take on the show. So yeah, really looking forward to... I'm looking forward to that more than the Bake Off. So, look, we're getting into that time of year. It's pitch black out there already. There's a fly. It's just gone 8. It's pitch black outside. What else are we going to do apart from either curl up with our books, or curl up with some good old-fashioned family entertainment, and maybe some entertainment that provokes us to think about what other people are going through in their most ordinary everyday lives in terms of dealing with not being able to read. Amazing. Can't wait to see them succeed. That's what I want and hope for. Right, okay, it was just a quickie. Yeah, Firefighters are still up there. Hopefully, I mean, it's been hours now, hopefully they'll have it under control soon, and then they can all get home, get back to their families, have a nice shower, have some supper, and maybe watch the Great British Bake Off on catch up or something like that. It's been a wonderful, wonderful day. So, next time you see me, it should be in the garden because there's plenty to do and I can't wait to get stuck in. But until then, it's cheerio from me. Please look after yourselves. Make sure the battery in your smoke alarm is working. Go right now, after you finish watching, go and stick your finger in it or whatever you need to do. Go and test your smoke alarm batteries. Think about your escape route. Think about if there's a fire in various, whatever bits of rooms it is, what's your escape route? Make sure your kids know how to dial 999 and ask for the fire service. And let's woohoo our firefighters everywhere. Right, until next time, bye for now.